I said I'll mute as I muted. Hello, everyone. We are recording a little bit early, but we're going to get a round one mock draft special for you. We're going to cover every team, and we're going to highlight the Broncos. So stick with us, and we will be right back.
Yo, welcome to the show. Let me set the scene. Mile High Sports Symposium, living the dream. Broncos in the house with that orange and blue. Nuggets making moves, watch that altitude crew. Avalanche bringing ice, check the skills they display. Rocky swinging bats, ready for game day. Rapids in the mix, kicking it with style. Buffs bring the heat, put the rivals on trial. Out talking JJT, they got the scoop. Mile High vibes, feel that energy rise. Sports on the menu, watch the crowd mesmerize. From football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire.
Howdy. What's up? Welcome to my High Sports Symposium. I just wanted to be really white there for a second. My name is JP Matthews. I am here with my co-hosts. One, Chris Whitwright, who I was trying to do a show with, our first show together on last Wednesday, and that was an epic fail on my end, so I do apologize for that. Chris, happy to have you. Thanks for joining the team. How are you today?
I am delightful. I'm ready to do a mock draft. I'm super excited to be here, as usual.
Oh, and of course, we are joined, as always, by the doctor, Nicholas Manning. Doc, what's up? Oh, what's up, Doc?
I mean, technically, it's also Lord Dr. Nicholas Manning, but
that is true.
I'm gonna leave it be with that right now. The only reason why I'm good is because I go out of town today.
Yes.
Well, like open the eyes to the snow. Did you know that it was going to snow today? No.
I knew it was going to. I didn't know it was going to snow. I knew cold.
Well, I mean, like that, no. Anyway, so that was like, but to be honest, well, it's more because I cleaned my car and stuff. And I was like, my car's clean. So when I come back in town, it's good. So I'm doing everything I can to not drive my car anywhere. Yeah, so far so good. So far so good. The wife
crushing it so far.
Stepping up. She's I just throw errands at her while she's doing her other stuff for like pre-trip stuff, nails, all the things. Like, could you please grab some? Don't have to, but some milk would be good. Anyway, all that to be said, I'm also excited to mock draft because this is the most action we're gonna get about having some outside edition for the Denver Broncos today, because as of right now, 7 days in, we don't have a new name yet.
No, it's
got a lot of old names.
Hey, you know what? But before we get there, go like, subscribe, comment for the algorithm, do all the things, please and thank you. And then you need some W. Why might you ask? I would say, why not? Use our code OBN10. Save 10% off your next order. Remember that for Orange and Blue Network, 10%, or Bounty X, because he's number 10. And all the good stuff. None of whatever the other stuff is, because that's gross. And with that, I want you to know that we are part of a pretty great group of people. Hit it, JT.
Yeah, we are part of the Orange and Blue Network, and we have Broncos coverage for you pretty much every day of the week. Mondays and Fridays, you've got Orange and Blue Blitz. Mondays at 7 p.m. Sorry, I didn't say the time for the other ones, 11 a.m. Mondays at 7 p.m., Broncos Bros. Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m., Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue. Wednesdays at 2:30, of course, you have us. Also, Wednesdays at 6, you have Broncos Talk. Thursdays at 7 p.m., you've got the Mile High Outcasts, our only Spanish Bronco show that I'm aware of on Fridays at 6 p.m. is Viva Las Broncos. And you've got your breaking news pregame, play-by-play postgame, and every game day options as well. Unfortunately, the breaking news has been really sad right now with free agency, so we haven't had any of that recently.
Hold on. Whoa. I'm going to push on that. All right. It hasn't been sad. It just hasn't been exciting.
It's been sad.
Hey, you know what?
Better at any position of need. We got 0% better.
Well, when you're 14-3 and you're the number 1 seed in the AFC, do you have to get better at everything?
I mean, people making moves around you, man.
You still have needs.
Okay. All right. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go through the things. All right. And number 1, Dallas Cowboy fan. Just kidding. I didn't mean low blows. That was rude. Even though I said it was a team. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I have some frustration and some beef about the anger about I get it. And it is not fun from our perspective, but yeah. We'll get there. Anyway, so here's we're gonna tee it up for everyone, right? So we're gonna do a mock draft. We're gonna go each one of us is gonna take one. We're gonna volley some things back to have them line up in some fun way, and in doing so, we're gonna use the PFF mock. Why? Because I pay for the damn thing, so I might as well use it or it gets dusty. But with that. This is our take based on what their needs are. We'll talk a little bit about the teams, what maybe some of their additions are, depth chart. We'll do a little overlay with that. But we're going to keep it to what we would want them to do if we were running that team, not what we think they will do. Because we'll do some predictive stuff. This is more for fun because it's our podcast and we do what we want. So with that, do either of you have anything to add before I get us cracking?
Now let's go. You're breaking the ice here with the number 1 pick.
All right. Well,
we have no idea who it's going to be.
We have no idea. So fun part is we're going to start this here draft. And in doing so, we're going to go ahead and normally we kick it off. Ding. NFL draft is now underway. I'm going to go ahead and just jump in because I already know the first pick.
It feels like ESPN.
The pick is in, and the first pick, 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando. Where's the rest of my face mask? Mendoza.
And I think we also probably need to preface this with we're not going to be doing trades right now because there's no reason to get more complicated than we need to.
Nope, we'll do fun stuff later. But
yeah,
and for now.
And that it's a predictive mock, not what we would.
It's a predictive mock, and we only have our regular-ish amount of time to do it. If we did trades and crap, especially because we would be trading them to each other, that would take a lot longer. Because I'm a stingy bitch. All right, who's up number 2?
I'm number 2. I got the Jets.
For the New York Jets is JT. Give me the nod when your pick is in.
Yeah, Jets made a lot of moves. They've shored up some needs that they've had. The notable moves. I don't know if Geno Smith is a notable move, but they brought in Geno Smith.
I think it is.
Tavondre Sweat, nose tackle. Joseph Osai at outside linebacker, to name a few. Minka Fitzpatrick at free safety. But they still need an edge. And I think that I always go back and forth between David Bailey and Arvell Reese. Here, I'm going to go with Arvell Reese. So that's going to be the pick. With the second pick, the Jets select Arvell Reese. Just because I think that Arvell Reese has a little bit of a higher ceiling and they have time to develop him. David Bailey, you know what he is. He's a speed edge rusher. Maybe he'll develop a little bit more, but I think Reese is the higher upside pick.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
I think Reese is also because I think he could be an off-ball linebacker if they got maybe clever with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, it's a little like a Micah Parsons ish. I don't know if he's got that kind of that to him, but yeah, I think if you're gonna draft number 2, I'm trying to draft a Hall of Famer, not the guy that will make a Pro Bowl or 2.
Yeah.
So with the third pick in the NFL draft, the Arizona Cardinals select. But before they do, Chris, give us a rundown.
They have had an interesting offseason, more about what they've sent out as opposed to what they brought in. Obviously, Kyler Murray is now a Viking, so they're going to be looking for a quarterback probably in 2027, not this year, because I don't think any quarterback warrants the third overall pick at this point. So they brought in a whole bunch of depth along the offensive line and defensive line. Names like Elijah Wilkinson and Matt Pryor and Kevin or Sumilalo is another offensive lineman.
Yep.
That they brought in. Tyler Algier was brought in for a running back position, much to the chagrin to a whole bunch of Bronco fans.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
But, it is weird a little bit. Tyler Algier, they brought back James Conner. They got my man Trey Benson.
Yeah.
And, so.
Yeah, I think early on
all of them last year.
Yeah, I think early in the offseason, I was looking at like Jeremiah Love as this is probably a prime spot for him, but no longer. I will probably end up going with, as much as I like Sonny Styles, I'm going to say Francis Maui-Noah because I think he is the best right tackle prospect, and their right tackle right now is Elijah Wilkinson, and I don't think that's good enough. So,
I think he's the best lineman on the board, and maybe Paris Johnson, but I think he's better than ideally. Like he's going to play. So even if Elijah Wilkinson's any good, they could use him somewhere else. So I think it's probably the safest prospect that we've picked so far. He's been a first round guy for a while, as the kids say. So Tennessee Titans. So huge Tennessee guy, super pumped about Wan'Dale Robinson making almost $20 million a year. Ashton Schlattman, Cordell Volson, who, how do you make a below average line better? Go get more below average linemen is what I've read. Do you like the Daniel Bellinger to team up with Gunnar Helm? I like that. They brought Mitch Trubisky for a backup. Sure. But really like what they did on the defensive side of the ball. Jermaine Johnson, our own JFM, Alontae Taylor they brought in. I think Cordell Flott showed some real toughness, especially in the nickel spot for the Giants last year. Coupled up with Kevin Houston Jr., who was a pretty highly touted prospect last year before the draft and kind of fell from early second round talk to getting picked in the third. But I like what they're doing. I think they're building from the defensive side up. You have Robert Saleh, who obviously defensive coach. And so with that, I think if it were me, I would take an offensive lineman fairly early. They do not have one that's worth picking this early, in my opinion. And so for the Tennessee Titans, the pick is in. If I do this right. The Tennessee Titans select Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. In the end, they were terrible on offense, scoring points. Tony Pollard is a pretty good player. Tajay Spears, pretty good player. But Jeremiah Love is, in my opinion, he's special. And you can add a special player to team up, help out Cam Ward a bit. I think that's a good pairing. I think that gives them a pretty nasty duo in the backfield. So newly acquitted, newly acquired, newly anointed John Harbaugh and the New York Giants.
Appointed, I think was the word you're looking for.
Appointed. Thank you. I'm not a PhD in words. Okay, guys. Not a PhD in words.
Giants on the clock. Let's see. What have Giants done? The Giants have made some under the radar moves. I wouldn't say anything huge. Darnell Mooney was brought in just recently. Calvin Austin was brought in, so some receiver depth. Isaiah Likely, they need a little bit. Needed some more tight end options.
I like that duo with him and Theo Johnson. I think that's
Theo Johnson's
that's a nice one. And then tell me they don't have the baddest white boy backfield bringing on Patrick Ricard. Don't call me Richard.
That's right.
And then Cam Scatabo. That's a lot of face smashing.
It is.
A lot of
Tremaine Edmonds got brought over middle linebacker. Greg Newsome also was brought in. He's going to play.
I actually like that signing. So
I do too. I like that. I like Darius Washington too. I think he's feisty, kind of nickel too. I think, yeah, and so I think that they're doing some pretty good stuff. Brought in Paolo Adibo yesteryear, and then Drew Phillips, I think, is a upcomer. I like what they're putting together a little bit. So where do you go from there?
It's a little tricky. I think that I would. Oh man, I'm already at it.
There's only one answer.
I already have a conundrum. Because I really thought I was going to take Sonny Styles here, and I still might. Just because I think he's. I know.
There's one answer. There's
Ty
one
Simpson
answer.
taking. He's
What's
sitting
that?
there. Ty Simpson. He's sitting there taking.
Yeah. Getting an athletic, below average arm quarterback from the SEC. It's their MO.
I think
it's one of your alums, bro. Why are you not? Why is this hard for you?
No, I think that I think that Harbaugh likes that strong middle linebacker, but I think they needed a receiver to go opposite.
Malik Neighbors.
What's that?
Opposite Malik Neighbors.
Neighbors, yeah. So we're gonna go.
That is correct.
Still out of Ohio State, Cardinal Tate.
Yep.
I love
I appreciate the drama, but it was unnecessary.
Okay, it's a little unnecessary.
I mean, it had to be a receiver. Darnell Mooney. It's not enough. Not enough, in my opinion. Now on the clock, the Cleveland Browns.
The interesting thing about the Browns is that they are still trying to figure out that quarterback situation, kind of like Arizona is. So I don't think a quarterback goes this high. I really actually have liked what they've done on the offensive line this offseason. Titus Jones, Zion Johnson, Elton Jenkins, all coming in on new deals and kind of reforming that offensive line, which I think is great. That left tackle is still a huge problem for them, even with all those signings.
Both literally and figuratively.
Jones. The problem is that I'm having the same conundrum with Sonny Styles because I think Sonny Styles is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I am just going to. Yeah. I think I'm just going to take Sonny Styles because I think he's the best. I really think Monroe Freeling is a consideration here because I think he's the only kind of tackle in the first round that has that kind of left tackle ability. I would say Francis Noah probably does too, but Freeling's
he's off the board. Yep. Yeah.
So give me Sonny Styles.
Pick is in. Sonny Styles. You get to stay in Ohio. I'm sorry.
Yeah, low moving cost.
Yep.
That's true. There you go. Not that he couldn't afford it, but whatever. Right. Up is the Washington underachieving Commanders, who suffered a ton of injuries last year. It saw them fall from a bad second half away from playing in the Super Bowl to yikes. Made some solid additions in my opinion. So brought over Chig Okonkwo, tight end who played last with Tennessee. I really thought that was a good underrated signing. Added some playmakers in the backfield with Rashad White, Jerome Ford, who I think is a serviceable running back. I think hasn't really got utilized and such. De'Ami Brown, who I believe had been in Washington before. Is that right? Wrong, Chris?
I'm sorry, say again?
Maybe. Anyway. De'Ami Brown.
He was there previously.
Yeah.
Before going to Jacksonville.
Before going to Jacksonville and then coming back. Adafi Owe? Yeah. Who resurrected his career after getting dealt to the Chargers last year was pretty phenomenal. Kayvon Chason, Leo Chanel, another addition, brought in Nick Cross, who I think is a pretty good safety, and then Emmitt Robinson, who is one of the better nickelbacks in the league. take my photograph. But what do you do for a team that really, in my opinion, looks pretty solid all the way around? And so with that, the Washington Commanders, will take. Yep, the pick is it. With the 7th pick in the NFL draft, the Washington Commanders select best player on the board, Ruben Bain Jr., edge, Miami. Reason why is it's the best player on the board, and they had minimal pass rush last year. Chason is a 1-year contract. Oweh was flash in the pan, maybe, and so maybe he turns around. But I think anytime you have chances to add depth and rushers, you do. And for a guy like that, I think he'll be successful no matter what. So
that hurts my feelings a little bit.
JT,
as a Cowboys fan.
Yep. That's how you know it's a good pick.
Yep.
When a fan of the other team doesn't like to see it. So with that, I'm gonna volley this over to JTZ for Sheezy. Keeps his arm so breezy. About to pick for the hometown of Lil Weezy.
New Orleans Saints. Is that the hometown Lil Weezy?
Yep. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. You're pretty good with it.
That's for sure. Okay. There's some directions to go here, but I think that ultimately, I can talk about. It's pretty low key offseason for New Orleans. They did grab Travis Etienne, so he was at running back with them. They grabbed Kid Nellis for middle linebacker. Otherwise, it's been pretty quiet. David Edwards at left guard also, but they need some juice on the defense, and I'm trying to decide which way I want to go. But I think I'm just going to go kind of I don't want to say best player available, but I think the more valuable position is edge. I think you can play David Bailey outside linebacker. And that's probably where you want him to play, is standing up. So David Bailey's going to be the pick here.
I like it. Quick save. David Bailey's miniature slide ends. Kansas City Chiefs. I'm actually really mad. Orlando.
Yep.
For the Kansas City Chiefs. But you're up. Please fumble this as much as possible.
I don't think it's going to happen, but
make a big reach.
I think the big issue is the fact that they traded their corners, so they didn't have to pay them. They did sign that Ken Walker, who I hear is pretty good.
Pretty good.
To kind of shore up that running game. Brought Travis Kelce back. So I think we are still going to have to address edge rusher, and I think they still have a right tackle need with Jawan Taylor being cut, but I think cornerback, you just can't play with what they have. So give me Mansour Delane, the corner out of LSU.
I like it because it's not who I thought you were going to pick, just because that would hurt my feelings. But I also like it because I think it's a good pick. Better corner on the board.
And
maybe in the draft you get for a team that needs it. So the Cincinnati Burros are now on the clock. Have had a pretty quiet free agency. I thought some pretty good moves, bringing over Jonathan Allen, Boye Mafe, who I believe was selected with one of the picks the Broncos gave up to the Seattle Seahawks, if I recall, and then Brian Cook, aforementioned departure of the Kansas City Chiefs. What does what do you give a team that needs a lot? And so it's a little bit easier to be able to pick for these guys. I'm going to stay within the state of Ohio. I'm going to draft them some Caleb Downs.
And I think this fall is right, because there is some concern with some health issues that had cropped up after the combine with him. So maybe an arthritic knee that may require some more rehab than I think initially was anticipated. So,
yeah.
Still, I think a top 5 player in the draft for sure, without question.
Yeah, and for a team who has been really, since they let Jesse Bates go, has really been looking for someone to really show up that back end. Jordan Battle, I think is maybe still ascending. Brian Cook, who is a good player, I don't think either of them keeps you from drafting a safety. I think you kind of figure it out, and since you're going to be in dime and nickel so much anyhow,
Yep.
You take the best player available. And for me, even if it's you get him for 6 years at his peak, I think it's worth it. So now going down to Miami and JT, the Dolphins, who have had probably one of the most active off seasons in some time, are on the clock.
They are on the clock. They just are in rebuild mode. So I think, you can kind of go wherever you want with this, except for quarterback. They did sign Malik Willis, which was interesting. After kind of wholesale, just throwing guys out. I'm going to go with what I think is the best player available. I think that this is maybe a little bit polarizing. I'm going to go with Spencer Fano. I like Spencer Fano a lot. I think he can play tackle, but I think he can also play guard. I think versatility is a big thing here, but I also think he's just a dog. I think he's going to be a guy that you want to model, your offensive line after, a guy that's going to come in and insert himself and be physical, especially in the run game. So, and that's kind of their strength right now. They're going to have to lean on that run game a little bit. So I'm going Spencer Fano.
And I like it. He's surprisingly coming from the University of Utah, a younger prospect. And so, again, when in doubt, I think he's a guy that will for sure succeed inside. Yeah, possibly could be really good outside, and they need they need
pretty much everything.
So I like that. I think that's a nice pick. And then with that, oh wow, randomly it lands on Chris to pick for the Cowboys.
Yep.
How do you feel about this? So again, our resident football aficionado is a rooter of the Cowboys. However, how does this line up for you? Is this?
Yeah, this is a problem. Like this right now, I think is kind of a bad scenario for the Cowboys because we were hoping that a lot of these offensive players get pushed up the board. Your Jordan Tysons, your Malachi Lemons. I know Carnell Tate went, but we need these guys to go, and we need a couple tackles to push some of this defensive talent down to us. We signed a really interesting player in Jalen Thompson this offseason. Love his tape. His tape is really good, and I think he's going to be able to be moved all along that defense. But that is not enough. That defense was the worst in Cowboys history last year. It's not statistically arguable. So with that said, we're going to make just a pick that just hurts my soul a little bit. It's Dylan Thieneman. I think he's a really good player, but man, I really need an edge or a linebacker to try and fall and be there. So Dylan Thieneman, please.
I like Thieneman though, man.
I do too, but
he's an athlete for sure.
I totally agree, and I think that's a really good. Him and Jalen Thompson, I think, provide some versatility in that back end, which is great. But we still don't have anybody to rush the passer. So
fair.
Yeah, I mean, you got PJ Locke.
We did.
Safety. Hopefully, with this pick, you have two standout guys that rise to the top of that group.
Yep.
The third one who does it all. I like the Kobe Durant pick up. I don't know how much that was for, so it's all in a vacuum. I don't know what the number is, and so on paper, I like that.
It's only a 1-year deal, so it wasn't for much money, and it's I think it was a good signing, but not again, it shouldn't stop you from drafting either a top corner if he's there, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, in the end, right? A playmaker on defense, a difference maker, I think is what you want to go for there. Now up, the Los Angeles Rams, who have been fairly active, obviously. for a team that seemingly gets in cap trouble a lot, or at least the perception of. Les Snead continues to say F them picks. Traded a first in the back end of the first for Trent McDuffie. I think it was a phenomenal move. Trent McDuffie is now the highest paid defensive back, correct, in NFL history, if I recall those numbers being correct. And then I think the under the radar and maybe even the better move, in my opinion, is Jalen Watson. I think he has better on the ball skills. But you bring both those guys over, teamed up with Quentin Lake, who I think is just like his dad, has just been a phenomenal player. That defense, especially the defensive backfield, which was the issue Achilles heel last year, is now on the right side up. This could be a team maybe that surprises you, goes out for someone like a Kaden Sadiq just because, but I think Colby Parkinson and Terrence Ferguson and Tyler Higbee are a pretty good trio. So for this group, the pick is in. And to make nightmares for all of us all over the place, the Rams select Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver.
Interesting.
Cal. I think if you got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and Lemon, good luck to you. Good luck.
Apparently, they've also been in the mix for AJ Brown, so that's kind of interesting.
Yep, and yeah, so I feel like the need has been there for a receiver. I think you got your chain mover and Devontae Adams. You kind of do everything in Puka Nacua, and then I think you have Lemon, who just gets open and a little bit of a dog. Hindsight, I probably would have wanted to go maybe more middle of the defense linebacker. I think picking a guy at 13, like CJ Allen was a player, but 13th pick overall, I think was way too rich. And without a need at the offensive line, I don't think any of the guys would start round one. And I think Mekhi Lemon has an opportunity to come in and contribute right now. So with that, Baltimore Ravens, who almost didn't have a pick in the first round. Now do you have a pick in the first round? Jack on the clock. What say you? JT, yeah, dude, like Christina Aguilera, yep, that's dirty. For young kids, go search up that video on YouTube. Christina Aguilera, dirty. You're welcome. That's a good music video.
Okay, got. The Ravens on the clock. They, as everyone knows, had Max Crosby, decided that his physical wasn't good enough, and traded that in for Trey Hendrickson instead, and kept his picks. Yeah, exactly. Kept their picks instead. Ended up with Trey Hendrickson, and then signed John Simpson. He's at right guard right now. Jalen Hawkins has some depth, free safety behind Malachi Starks, but pretty quiet for the most part for Baltimore, outside of the one noisy thing that they did. Man, I'm struggling with all my picks today, apparently, because it's tricky. It's a new coach and mentor that's a defensive guy. I don't know that there's anyone. I don't know that there's anyone that I would take here on that side of the ball over some of the offensive guys. I'm going to give, I think that maybe with a new head coach, they're going to want to throw down the field a little bit more. And I think you need a weapon on the outside. And I think that weapon is Jordan Tyson.
I like that.
So I'm going to give Tyson to the Ravens. I'm so used to them not drafting wide receiver. And I think that could hold still just because it is a defensive coach and mentor. But if you want to change the identity of a team, that's one way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, just to kind of buck back a little bit around the last statement, Zay Flowers, first round pick in 2023. Rashad Bateman, first round pick in 2021.
That is true.
They just haven't done, I think Zay Flowers has been what you'd hoped he'd be.
Right.
Definitely not. They haven't really found that kind of alpha receiver, and this is a team that I think would make sense for AJ Brown too. to get the bona fide, throw me the dang ball kind of guy. But I like Jordan Tyson. I think if I were a Ravens fan, I would rather have Tyson with that first round pick than AJ Brown first round pick, just considering all the things. So Christopher, what do you think?
Yep.
Yes, around the clock.
Yeah, Tampa's been kind of interesting. I mean, again, Mike Evans left, so that kind of leaves a giant hole at wide receiver. They have signed a linebacker in Alex Anzalone, and they signed a backup running back in Kenneth Gainwell that may alleviate some of that, but still need an edge rusher pretty bad and a cornerback pretty bad. I've seen Kenyon Sadiq mocked here a lot as a tight end. And I think it's interesting, but like they just re-signed Cade Otton. So what are we doing? And why would you? I don't know why you would do that. I think Cade Otton is perfectly acceptable. So go give me Keldrick Falk out of Auburn, who I think is a.
Tell me a little bit about why you picked him instead of maybe some of the guys that were further up the screen.
Well, I think Keldrick Falk is a. I think he's got a ceiling. And I think he has a floor. And I think the floor is pretty high, where it's like, he's going to be the best run-stopping end in this class. And I think he's got some undeveloped pass rush that could be developed if they invest into him. So I think he's interesting as a 6'6", 270-pound edge.
Yeah.
So
I like it. All right. So now the New York Jets are on the clock at number 6. This is the pick they received from the Indianapolis Colts. Who did the Jets' first pick? We're gonna stick with that. JT, you are up. You're gonna pick again.
You picked Darvell Reese. We picked Darvell Reese.
We did.
Yep. So you are up. I'm gonna let you make the call since you selected their first pick. Yeah, I mean, you selected their first pick. You got the mentality, you know what's going on. You've looked at what they've done, what they haven't done. And then I'll take the Lions from you.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't ready, but I can be ready. Let's see. We're
up to 4 hours, ladies.
We took care of their edge need. Let's see. Obviously they still need some help in their defensive backfield. I'm kind of looking at Jermod McCoy potentially. I do like. I'm gonna mess up the pronunciation. Is it Ione? What is it? I know it.
I believe it's Ione.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
There you go. Ione. I think that is probably the safe pick. And I think that, you're probably planning for a quarterback next year. Let's get the offensive line shored up. So I'm going to go Ione here for the Jets.
Nice. All right. Now on the clock, first round pick, first of the for the Lions. Don't think they have a ton of areas of weakness. Some of the spots, though, that I think could justify taking a player early. Corner, but I like Terrion Arnold's development. A little slow, but I think he's getting there. DJ Reed, I think, is a good player. And then they signed Roger McCreary, play in the slot. So I really like that. Could you get a linebacker to pair up with Jack Campbell? Yep. Would that be a good way to allocate your funds? And so with that, though, Taylor Decker, longtime Lion, is no longer the starter at left tackle. They have Giovanni Manu, who exactly. So with that, I think you go highest upside offensive lineman. I think Monroe Freeling has an opportunity to come in, join his Georgia teammate Tate Ratledge from last year, and form a pretty athletic, nasty duo with him and Penei Sewell. So I am going to draft Georgia tackle Monroe Freeling.
About that, I'm sure. So
that's right, Detroit. M, did you hear that? Good pick for the line. Yeah. Shut up. M. All right, now on the clock.
Minnesota. I think Minnesota is furious at the Cowboys for picking Dylan Thieneman because I think this one makes the most sense for them. If he were still available, because I think Harrison Smith.
Are we profiling for this, boys, or do we really think he's the best fit?
Yes, I think he's the best fit. Like, I think Harrison Smith is going to retire, and I think Dylan Thieneman is by far the second best safety in this class.
Yeah.
So profile it however you wish.
Really, really good athlete.
Yeah,
all the good stuff. So, yeah, I like it.
But Minnesota has a new quarterback in Kyler Murray, which is interesting because they have basically said, JJ McCarthy, we are super worried about him, and I get it. So. However, there is a corner situation that they have not really addressed. James Pierre comes in from Pittsburgh, but with Byron Murphy and Isaiah Rodgers, but I don't know if that's good enough for them. So give me Avion Terrell from Clemson. So over Jamad McCoy.
Interesting.
Again, Jamad McCoy has yet to work out, so it's kind of a little bit of a question. He's now 14 months removed from his ACL tear.
That's true.
They haven't yet fixed him, or they haven't yet worked him out. So really killed the interviews. So, but hasn't worked out yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't play from the desk. So
yep,
I like it. And Avion Terrell, for most of us maybe that don't know, his big brother is I think he's won an All-Pro. Isn't he? AJ? Time in Atlanta. So I like that pick. Bloodlines, first round pick. He's been first round mocked cornerback for a couple of years now. So I think that's a good selection. Now up, Carolina Panthers, who shocked by winning the NFC South and gave the Rams everything they could handle in the first round. Made some good signings in the sense of utilizing a ton of cap room, shoring up some more defensive spots. Devin Lloyd, big go get. Jalen Phillips, big go get. Jalen Phillips is the free agent, addition this season, who has garnered the most per year average at $30 million and some change. Offensive line wasn't that great last year. Could think we could take an offensive lineman. I don't know that I feel that good about some of the guys are slotted. I like their tight end room. You got Mitchell Evans, who was a sleeper pick from Notre Dame last year. Good blocking all around tight end. You got Jatavion Sanders, who athletic tight end, and then you have Tommy Tremble, who is a pretty good overall tight end. Outside of that, though, I don't know that there's a real good go get right there. But I would probably want to look a little bit more on playmaker side of the ball. So with that, though, I think Kenan Sadiq gives them a difference maker in pass game, can block a little bit. None of the names I read off at tight end really do much for me. Chuba Hubbard has shown to be a pretty good running back. You have Ted McMillan, who was everything I thought he was going to be and then some last year. You'll get a guy like Kenan Sadiq who can play inside the slot, can play outside. I think is just a tremendous opportunity for him to really show the goods. So for this pick, Carolina Panthers select Kenan Sadiq.
Nice.
I like it.
That's about the range he should go, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's probably the earliest in my all of the stuff showing that he was. He's not in the same class as Colson Loveland or Ty Warren, in my opinion, and I think that should be reflected in the notes. So on the clock, Chris, their second pick.
Hey.
First round, 26th draft.
So, yep. So this gets interesting for us because Jerry Jones has come out and basically said we do not want any redshirt years after Siobhan Ravel's kind of redshirt year last year. He played a little bit but didn't play well. So it was kind of a redshirt coming off an ACL. So I like Jamad McCoy personally, but I don't think they're going to pick him unless he works out and is totally checked out. And so we'll know that by April.
Right.
But again, we have a giant hole at edge and we have a giant hole at linebacker. I do like CJ Allen, but give me Akeem Mesidor out of the U.
Nice. Any concern about his age, or I mean, it's like his move
No.
off Jurek since he's
Nope,
the
Brian-
25-year-old rookie?
Yep, Brian Broaddus has an interesting story about Terrence Newman. And for those of you who do not know, he was a draft pick of the Cowboys. He was a 25-year-old rookie and played till he was 39. So age is just a number to me.
True.
So
True.
I just hate the contract piece of that. Like your second contract comes with
Up in that
30.
30.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
very good.
I mean, but that's Garrett Bowles, right? Some of Garrett Bowles, 25-year-old rookie who
100%. So
his age likes
And I
to
think
fine
you're gonna-
line.
yeah, you're going to see this with a lot of the COVID year players. So
Yeah,
it just kind of is what it is.
This is going to be what the thing is now for sure. All right, JTZ, you're on the clock with the Pittsburgh
Right.
Steelers. Ooh, this is
Yeah,
gonna be fun.
Steelers are on the clock. Obviously, they need a quarterback at some point. You know, they have do they have Rodgers? They have
Yeah.
Rodgers, right?
He's going to come back.
They do not.
He's gonna
He's got. I mean, but he's not currently on the roster.
Right. So I'm assuming that he'll be back. I don't know if that's gonna be the case. You could still take quarterback here if you wanted. You know, they do need some help at tackle. They did bring in Michael Pittman Jr., which I thought was like maybe the steal of free agency, not really free agency, a trade, but of this first week. I mean, basically, you swap in a 6th and a 7th round pick to get a really good receiver in Pittman. They signed Rico Dowdle, which is a good addition for them. They signed
I like that one.
Dean at corner. Let's see, where do we want to go with this? Troy Fontano, who I really like at right tackle.
Yeah, I mean, they really roster wise, they've got some pretty good pieces. You have 2 former first round picks, back-to-back years, Broderick Jones and Tanu, like you had said. You got Zach Frazier, who up and coming center. Maybe need inside as well as you know. Do you feel good about their receivers? I think Roman Wilson is that dude.
I feel good enough. I don't know that they would spend a first round pick. You know, you got DK and you've got Pittman. Like, you might need some depth, but I don't think you'd go for that here necessarily. Hayward's getting a little bit up there in age. He's still playing at a really high level, so I don't know that you need to replace him right now, but maybe you start thinking about what life looks like after him. And I think that I'm going to take this player just because I think it's interesting. I'm going to take Caleb Banks as maybe a developmental guy. I think he's got all of the physical tools. His size, his athletic ability is really insane. His measurements were crazy at the draft. So there's no question that he is a talented player. As far as traits go, we'll just have to see if he can develop into something. And I think, you know, putting him in a room with Cameron Hayward's probably a good start down that pathway. I think with him and Harmon in that room too, it's a very interesting defensive tackle room. So I'm going to go with that.
Caleb, just for, you know, kind of general discussion, I'm kind of out on Caleb Banks because the film that I've watched is he is super freakish as an athlete, but like he is very much a developmental prospect because I'm not sure he knows how to play football. Because
it's
a lot of times on tape, you'll see him like, you know, he'll have a wicked first step, but then once he gets engaged, he's like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to lean on you, and that's not good enough. So,
yeah, well, learn from Hayward. Maybe it helps develop him. Maybe, you know, this new coaching regime, he'll thrive. I mean, someone's going to fall in love with the intangibles. That's just the bottom line.
Yep.
You know? So. But I agree with you. There's definitely some risk involved there.
100%, but that's okay. No, that's again, risk it for the biscuit.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, another pretty good team. Not a lot of spots, in my opinion, to be able to glaring needs anywhere is the Los Angeles Chargers. So they brought in Tyler Biadasz and Cole Strange for the interior offensive line. Charlie Kohler, who I really like. I think he's a good player, underutilized in Baltimore, but gave him 3 years, $24 million. for a guy that's totaled like 450 yards or so catching the football in his career. So we'll see. We'll see. People get paid more than I do to make those decisions. So you think that they're probably pretty good. I don't like, or at least I'm not totally sold on Tahib Still, RJ Mickens, Elijah Bolden, Cam Hart. So I think if it were me, I would go out and take the best defensive back. I really like McNeil Warren, but I think you have Derwin James. I think both of those guys fit the mold. I don't know that would be a good pairing. And so with that, I'm actually going to go with Jamad McCoy. I think he's the best player on the board. I don't feel good about what they have in the defensive backfield. However, I think what McCoy can slow play it because I think that they have enough as long as that's a guy that gets in the scheme and gets ramped up by mid-season. I think he's the highest upside play. And for me, that's the why. So
he's got fun 2024 tape. I will say a credit to the Chargers for committing to the bit. They're going to run the football because Kohler and Ingold and those guys are just every free agent signing they've done so far is like we're gonna run the ball. So you know what you're gonna get.
All right, now on the clock, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I'm taking this one back, right?
Yep.
Okay. Eagles, let's see what they did. They got Reek Woolen in free agency who they'll start at corner. There's some question marks about how he'll hold up, but I think that's really the biggest move. They brought in Jonathan Jones, also some depth with Johnny Munt at tight end. Brought back Dallas Goedert, so he'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
What do we want to do here? So they need some juice. Excuse me, some edge juice. I'm trying to think, what would we do here? I think that maybe I'm just going to pencil in CJ Allen here. I think he's one of the best players left.
No. As the Cowboy fan screams, no.
I know. He's a good player. He's athletic. He's the right size at linebacker.
Yep, he's good.
You can pop him outside because you got Jahad Campbell in the middle now.
Yep.
Just overall, they're going to need more juice and pass rush ability, and I think he'll help bring that.
Yep, 100%.
I like it, and I think this lines up perfect. You had the Browns first, right, Chris?
Yeah, I did. So,
yep.
And I took the best player available, Sonny Styles, at linebacker because he's pretty good. They really need help at wide receiver because they still Jerry Jeudy's still there, and they've got Cedric Tillman, who are again they're fine. Isaiah Bond, I think, is interesting out of the slot. He's kind of a fast, speedy guy.
Yeah,
out of the slot, which is interesting. And Blake Miller, if we're talking about still needing a left tackle, Blake Miller is interesting, but he played mostly right tackle for Clemson. So I'm going to pass on Blake Miller and go after Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana, the wide receiver, because I think he's pretty talented. As a receiver. He killed Miami in the championship game, just getting those back shoulder fades over and over and over again. So I think he maybe has a little bit higher ceiling than Judy or Tillman. So
as the Bronco GM, I'm mad.
For sure.
I really like Cooper. I think he's nasty. Love to see him in Broncos uniform and or any team not in the AFC West. So I like that pick. That's a good pick.
For sure.
And the process, Chris. That was thoughtful. NFC North champions from 2025, Chicago Bears. And Caleb Williams, interesting offseason. Brought in Khalif Raymond, former Bronco legend. I brought in Garrett Bradbury. At center, who I think is a solidish center. Kobe Bryant at free safety from Seattle. I think that's a sneaky good get. Devin Bush. So swapping out him and Tremaine Edmonds. who Edmonds, I think, underachieved. Devin Bush last year overachieved for what he's been, but is still underachieved in his career. Anyway, if everyone's following me on that for sure. But I think they really could use again some more defensive help, being able to get pressure. They, outside of Montez Sweat on the edges, not really a ton out there. And so I think this is probably a pretty good opportunity to take a safety. I think I'm going to take Emmanuel McNeil. I think you lost Brisker. Cam Lewis and Kobe Bryant, who are pretty good players. I like what they have outside in Stevenson, Johnson, and Gordon. But I think adding that kind of chess piece, move down to the box, a la Emanwari or Derwin James, I think would make this defense pretty legit. I made a case in my brain for either Peter Woods or Cassius Howell. I think both of those are guys that would fill a spot. TJ Parker, he's kind of underwhelmed in my opinion, but maybe that's just my Clemson hatred coming through.
No, he needs to learn to develop another pass move other than the arm bar.
So. Yep. Okay. I'm glad we see it the same way. So, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, welcome to the Windy City, baby.
Yep. I like it. I think that the Bills probably don't like that. Bills were eyeing him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Bills are interesting. They got TJ Moore, which is a good acquisition, a bit pricey, but a good acquisition for them as far as they need someone who can stretch the field a little bit. They brought in Bradley Chubb, who's definitely an upgrade over Joey Bosa last year. Brought in TJ Gardner-Johnson, which was a good addition for them, and also D. Alford at nickel. So they're kind of an interesting team, especially with what's left. Maybe going best available, or maybe just going. Maybe Joe Brady wants to just beef up this offense even more. Obviously Keon Coleman's not everyone's favorite wide receiver, so I don't know what their plans are for him. Michael Palmer is a decent depth guy, but we know what Khalil Shakir is as a possession receiver, can get up the field and get some yak.
Mm-hmm. Let's
just add another wide receiver to the room. Let's do it. I'm going to have them take, as sad as it makes me, because this is another Broncos guy that I'd like. Let's go Denzel Boston. Let's put him on the outside. Now you got a lot of weapons for Josh Allen.
Yeah, Boston and DJ Moore outside. Moore has some all over the field versatility. Khalil Shakir, I think, is unheralded slot guy. He's just got like the perfect mold of that.
For sure.
That's pretty good. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, and Jackson Haas, who I think that's probably the deepest tight end group.
For sure.
You got leading rusher in the NFL, James Cook the third, returning, and that's apparently the quarterback's pretty good too. So overall, I like it. One of the most active teams in free agency, which hasn't really been their MO for some time, because they couldn't keep their players on their teams after some successful seasons.
It's true.
But on the clock, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, and Chris Whitwright. Who would you select and why?
Well, I think it's been an interesting offseason for the Niners because they obviously signed Mike Evans to a big deal. And then they traded for Osa Odigizua from the Cowboys, which I think was a really good acquisition by them. They still are struggling with wide receiver because Brandon Ayuk is going to be gone probably, and most likely. I don't think that marriage is something that can be reconciled. So, but I don't see any wide receiver. Can you filter to the wide receivers? I just want to see if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
So, Casey Concepcion is a really good one. I really like him. It's maybe a little early for him, but
yeah.
Can you go back to best available real quick, just so I don't make sure I don't miss something? Uh,
Filter out multiple if you like. If you'd like to see a few position groups within that, filter out.
no, no, I think I'm good. I think Cassius Howell is going to be the pick here. These guys still need some pass rush ability. They're still kind of building on that side of the edge. They've got Nick Bosa. They got Michael Williams last year, but both are. Yeah, well, I mean, so Michael Williams, Nick Bosa on the edges, but both of them are coming off ACLs. So we're going to need somebody to rush the passer there.
I like it. You never have enough. Especially in the back end of the first round. That's going to be good value. You get a guy with starting potential early on in the lates and don't have to rush him on the field. I think that's good. It's good pick.
It's interesting because, they drafted what's his face last year, Michael Williams.
Yep.
Who is also kind of lacking some pass rush ability. So hopefully they can develop that. Obviously they'll be able to stop the run, which is great. But we'll see if they can bring pressure.
Yep.
Houston Texans on the clock. Phenomenal defense. And then you add half of the Fighting Whites in Reed Blankenship. Play safety next to Kalen Bullock. Help form, I think, one of the best, if not the best secondary in football. Top to bottom, good up front, good linebacker core. Going to leave the defense alone. Their offensive line has been garbage the last 3 seasons. Last year when you trade Laremy Tunsil, it didn't make them better. And so right now they're trotting out Braden Smith. Braden Smith, really good player when he's healthy. So if you've heard this before. Drafted Blake Fisher in the second round of 2024. Brought in Trent Brown. Yes, he's still playing football. And then Ariante Ursay, who is a big mammoth tackle, played pretty well when he was in last year. But needless to say, we don't know if they're good. So with that, I am going to take a tackle here. I'm going to go with Caden Proctor, who is large and in charge. I think he is a more dominant presence. I think for a team that could utilize a little bit of the nasty to help support the rushing attack with the newly acquired David Montgomery and Woody Marks, who performed pretty well last year, to help out CJ Stroud because Lord knows he needs it. Caden Proctor, come on down.
Caden Proctor.
Good one. All out.
Yeah, he's straight enormous.
Catch the rock.
Absolutely.
Those screens, those are pretty legit. So
and you can probably play interior if you don't want him at tackle too. So
yep. And I think if you have him and Ursay as your tackles, those are the large humans. It'll take some time to get around the end, even if they don't touch anybody.
For sure.
So, couldn't go wrong. I think if Blake Miller is a cleaner prospect probably, but higher upside with Caden Proctor. Betting on traits a little bit. And so with our second pick of the first round, the hated Kansas City Chiefs.
And this would be me again. So we took Mansour Delane with the first pick, addressing corner. I am sorely tempted to get Colton Hood and double up on the corners because I think Colton Hood is pretty underrated in this draft.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, but give me Casey Concepcion as the Texas A&M wide receiver. So give Patrick Mahomes yet another weapon.
I like that. I like it and I hate it. I think Concepcion can be really good. He has a lot of drops over his career, and that worries me a little bit. But I think Kansas City could definitely.
Yeah, I don't know that you can trust Rashee Rice to be sane.
Yeah, for sure.
And Xavier Worthy has not proven anything to say, that he can do that he is the answer to any question. So
agreed.
I like that. Good takes. All right. Now we're on the clock with the Denver Broncos. It'll be a little bit of a communal pick. I'm going to be the tiebreaker when it comes to who we pick as we round out the first round. First, Chris, give me your take. What do you think with what's on the board? If you were the Broncos, which way would you lean? Is there a prospect you like more than, or even just a position group to focus on? What would you be thinking?
This is super tough for the Broncos because a lot of those offensive players went in the late first round. Cooper and Boston Concepcion, I think all those guys would be of interest to the Broncos. I like I like Caden McDonald, especially since you lost JFM, and we may sign Cam Jordan, we may not. So he'd be of interest to me. Or Peter Woods, I think, would be interesting. Max Eichenor would also be of interest. Again, if you don't know what to do, I'm always about taking an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman because you can never have too many. So those are my initial thoughts right now. So
I like those. Those are good thoughts. Good thoughts. What about you, JTZ for Sheezy?
I think is Mike McGlinchey only have 1 year left on his contract, or did they?
Nope, he's got a couple, especially because they.
Okay.
He's got guaranteed money into next year, not a ton next year.
I take Blake Miller off then. I like Blake Miller a lot, but I don't think you're going to wait that long for him. Man, this is a tough one. It really is. I think right now I would kind of lean. I think Jacob Rodriguez would be a good pick here.
Yes. Preach, brother.
I think he's an interesting pick. I think he's a playmaker. I think he showed at the combine he could run. I really like what he could bring to this defense. And he's a tough guy that's just an all-around athlete. I think that's something this team could use. I actually like AJ Halsey a bit. I think he's someone that you could bring in and develop a little bit. I think he's a really interesting safety prospect out of LSU. I just am so iffy on some of these other defensive linemen. Like I like Caden McDonald a lot. He helps stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he has a lot of upward pass rush traits that'll help him excel at that position. Like you can hold an edge for sure, but as far as getting pressure from there, maybe you don't need that. Maybe that's something that they consider for sure. But I do like Caden McDonald as a player.
Can I throw a wild card? Jadarian Price at running back here.
Yeah, I like that too. I also like Stowers potentially at tight end. I think it's a little early for him, but he tested so well at the combine, it makes him really tempting.
Yep. So just kind of a I don't know that Price is going to last your second round pick. So if you want him, you got to take him, I think. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right. It's so that Henderson was their plan last year.
Yep.
And if Barron didn't fall, that's who they were going to select, allegedly. So there's some concern there. I think right now, none of these prospects, in my opinion, everyone on the board is like a clean or at least like apples to apples ish. Caden McDonald, run stuffer, Peter Woods, more of a run stuffer, not a ton. Christian Miller, kind of a one year wonder a little bit. Lee Hunter is going to be really seasoned prospect. Chris Bell coming back from a nasty injury. That would probably have been the one. 6'2", 220. He looks all of it, and then that knee injury I think is pretty challenging. It's crazy because I would not have went this way before. I think you can find really good starting middle linebackers in the second, third round. Yep. And in vacuum, I would rather do that. That said, this isn't in a vacuum. This is real life here, Nick. And so we're gonna take the player with potentially maybe the best opportunity to make an impact. So the best player available at the position of need kind of thing. I wouldn't be mad if they took Peter Woods, Caden McDonald. I think all of those guys make sense. We wouldn't even mind Stowers or Jadarian Price. But I think Jacob Rodriguez is, I think, a guy who 3-man rotation with Sherrod, Alex Singleton, and Rodriguez. I think you have your thumpers, and Jacob Rodriguez is probably the best mixture of the two players. But again, captain, heady guy. So I think it kind of fits well with, from what I hear, really good.
Yep.
I like him. He was terrible before they bought him. And so I committed to the program. So with the 30th pick and the NFL draft, select. Oh, wait. A trade is in. Just kidding.
What?
Would be mad if they were traded this.
What is happening?
But Jacob Rodriguez, come on down. I think we finally have drafted our high upside inside linebacker for development. And so as we round out the first round, JT, you're on the clock. Chris, you are to follow.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's see. Patriots. What do the Patriots need? I had the wrong depth chart pulled up, so I'm going to pull it up real quick. Just so I. Oh, yeah. They brought in Romeo Dobbs. I actually think that was a really good, underrated addition. I think Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard is also.
I really like that move.
Yeah, it's a good fit for them and something that they need, obviously. I wonder if they have questions about Will Campbell long term at left tackle. We'll see. That's where it was.
I mean, how do you not? How do you
know,
not? Like the
have to
dude
right
got
now.
spun like a freaking top hat.
They also brought in Draymond Jones and Kevin Byard. So some interesting additions there. They do need. I don't know if the need at wide receiver is so great anymore. I still think that offensive line needs a lot of work. Just making sure I'm not missing it. Edge could be something that they target as well. I'm actually going to swerve a little bit. I'm going to draft. I'm not going to swerve too much, but I'm going to draft more of a developmental guy in Caleb Lamu. I actually think he's probably one of my top tackles. I just think that
You love you some Utah.
I do love those tackles from Utah. I really do. I just think he is maybe not ready to play right now, but if you give him a little bit of time to cook, McDonald doesn't work out at left tackle. You can kick him inside Will Campbell. You can kick him inside at some point, and then Lamu can take that spot. I think that could work out to their benefit.
Yeah, I like it. Close out the first round. The Super Bowl champions, Seattle Seahawks. Chris, you're on the clock.
They are doing cartwheels in Seattle because, in free agency, they've been pretty quiet in free agency. They brought back Raheed Shaheed. They brought back Josh Jobe, which are two great ones. Obviously, Rashid Shaheed, the wide receiver, Josh Jobe, the corner. Lost Kenneth Walker, which may prove to be a big loss at running back, and then Mafe at edge. And then it lost a lot of their secondary. Kobe Bryant and Reek Woolen went elsewhere in free agency. But they are doing cartwheels because Colton Hood is sitting there for them to be like, yep, go ahead and take one of those cornerback spots opposite Devin Witherspoon, and we're not going to miss a beat. So I love this fit for them. I think that guy is nasty. I think he's a playmaker. I think he's a good player overall. So
I like it. I like it. Really quick snapshot as we look at our collective first round mock. What do we think, boys? Maybe what's the pick that you like the most? Which one do you feel like, nope, that's going to be a whiff? And then we'll do kind of final thoughts and let the people have their day.
I'll go ahead and start. I like Monroe Freeling for the Detroit Lions. I think that's a great pick and a great value there. And Caleb Downs going number 10, I think is a steal and a half for the Bengals. So picks I'm not so warm and fuzzy on are Caleb Banks, but I've already said why.
Yep.
And I'll even say Keldrick Falk that I picked for Tampa Bay. I don't know. I question whether his pass rush traits actually come to fruition. But I said, I think he's got it. I think he's a ceiling. So if you hit a double there, that's okay too. So
nice.
Yeah. I really like Caden Proctor to Houston. I think it gives them some more versatility on that line that they're rebuilding. You could keep him inside and he can probably dominate at guard, and you can see what he's got at tackle. I think that's a really good addition for them. I think that Kenyon Sadiq is interesting to Carolina. They're an improving team. They were a playoff team this last year. We'll see how they are trending. But I think if he hits, and I think it's a big if with Kenyon Sadiq, as good as athletic as he is, he didn't have a ton of production at Oregon, which is interesting. But I think that he could be a big game changer for them if he does kind of develop into the player that people think he could be based on his traits. Ones I don't love as much. Not to to dunk on you, Chris, but I just think Mesidor at his age worries me a little bit. It's something that I would take in consideration, though. You guys make some good points that it could turn out just fine for them. Yeah, I'd say that. And then Omar Cooper Jr. I like a lot. I wonder if he was maybe a little overdrafted here. He's got a lot of hype coming out of the championship game, but and I think he's talented. I just don't know if I would take him in the first round per se, but maybe based on need, I would. So
nice. Well, I think I'm gonna make sure I pick one that's not me. I think that's kind of clown. I really like Baltimore taking Jordan Tyson. I think he's the difference maker, and I think Baltimore has been looking for one of those. And so I think that's a really good. I think that's a really good get there. I also really like. I'm a little sad about it. I like Denzel Boston going to Buffalo. I think they back their way into, when your key additions on offense are DJ Moore, and then if you were to get Denzel Boston, I think that's a really good 1-2 punch right there. And I'm a sucker for offensive linemen. So any of you that picked an offensive lineman, nice job. I think Muaga in Arizona, they just haven't figured out how to draft linemen. I just don't know what's wrong there. They just whiff after whiff, and I think he is a guy that will make the new regime look smart. And so I think that's a good get. Picks I didn't like necessarily. I don't know that I would want Thiemann that early. I don't know if he's that big of a difference maker to go top 15, but I think he's, like you said, Chris, with how things had fell on the board, wasn't a really good. Yeah, there really wasn't a good clean pick. Maybe your hope is you can trade back a little bit. And
do not be surprised if Geldrick Falk is the pick there. So I don't particularly like it.
What's funny is if those picks were flipped, I think I would have been more okay with it. I like Falk. I like his versatility. I think he's a big body. And then Thiemann being at 20, for some reason I would have felt better. Whatever. I mean, it's just dumb. I don't like Kenyon Sadiq there. There wasn't a good hindsight offensive lineman. I think probably just when in doubt. Yeah. They're a team that just needs to stay tough. And I think that would have been a good opportunity to improve their roster right there. So, but overall, I think we nailed it. Let us know what you think, because we are motivated by other people's opinions. So, any last thoughts before we get out for the day?
I don't think so. Just, I think the draft is always so fun to break down. I think it's interesting to keep an eye on kind of stock going up and down with some of these players. Broncos are going to have to do some work in the draft. They didn't do much in free agency up to this point. It's going to be, they're going to have to get some difference makers, or at least some guys that will fit what they do well. And it looks like, Sean Payton and George Payton are happy to roll back the team that we had from last year. So draft will be interesting. You can get some game changers, I think, in the first, or at least some contributors in the first couple rounds. It is an interesting draft this year as far as depth. A lot of people are saying it's a weak draft, but I think there's like tight end and running back, or tight end specifically. I think there's some good depth. Running back, I think you're really going to have to get one of the top guys, or you're looking at, potentially just hoping you hit on a flyer somewhere down late in the draft. And linebackers, I think linebackers are interesting. So if you don't end up with Jacob Rodriguez like we did in this mock, there are some guys later that are really intriguing. So, but there will be some options to fill some holes of need for the Broncos. Just a matter of what fits their scheme at this point, based on Sean Payton's assessment of things and like Vance Joseph. So time will tell. Time will tell. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. We appreciate you. Went a little long, but we will always do that for the draft because that's just how we roll. But thank you for being here. If you like Doc said, if you want to reach out on Twitter, we're always, or X, whatever we call it now, we're always keeping an eye on that. Love to talk draft. We'd love your opinions. I know there's some big draft heads out there, so we want to hear from you. But be safe out there. Be kind to everyone. And if you need a sports prescription, ask a doctor.
I can help.
From football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire. So grab your crew, let's hit the show. My High Sports Symposium, let the good times flow.